Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's invite our next speaker. Our next speaker is Ruth Yap. Ruth is a very interesting character. She is a zero waste advocate. Zero waste, you hear me correctly. Zero waste advocate and the author of the book Gaya Hidup Sisa Sifar. In English, it is Zero Waste Lifestyle, which is what she's going to talk about tonight. Right, Ruth has been involved in marine and environmental conservation and education throughout Malaysia since 2008. She founded the Zero Waste movement in Sabah 3 years ago. And she is about to share her experience with all of us. Her speech title is A New Harmony, the Zero Waste Lifestyle. The Zero Waste Lifestyle, Ruth Yap.
Good evening. Can I have my first slide, please?
Okay, let me show the slide again. By the way, you can just wave at your audience first.
Hello.
Okay, let me share that slide. Here you are. If you are
Thank
ready,
you.
let me know. Okay.
Okay. So have a look at this photo, everyone. And let us ask ourselves this question. Are we in harmony with nature? Okay, that photo that you saw just now was taken at the beach in my city. It was taken on the day when I brought my family, my children out to the beach. Okay, I love the beach. Now, this beach is so dirty, and I believe it is the same almost everywhere now. And many beach cleanups have been held on this beach, but the trash keeps on reappearing. So our local council did a search. Okay, they did a research and they dug 10 feet deep into the beach. And guess what they found? Plastics. Okay, 10 feet deep and there were plastics. Now, how did this happen? Okay, plastic was first mass produced in the early 1950s, and 70 years since then, the production has multiplied by 5-fold. Okay, and with that, we are now in a global problem, which is plastic pollution and also the recycling crisis. Okay, now plastic actually brought a lot of benefit to people, especially in the medical industry, okay, because it is very cheap to produce and also lightweight to transport. But because of this same quality, coupled with its durability, it has also caused a lot of problems that we can no longer ignore in our environment. Okay, so many of us actually, we don't realize how much waste we generate every day because we throw our waste into the rubbish bin, and the next day, a dump truck will come and collect our waste. Okay, and they will send it to the landfill. But what happens to our trash in the landfill? Do they disappear? No, because plastic can last almost 600 years, up to 600 years in the environment. And what is going to happen to all this trash after the landfill is full? Do we look for another landfill? Is that a sustainable solution? Do you know in Malaysia, there are actually 300 landfills? And out of that 300, half of them has reached full capacity. Okay, the remaining half will be reaching its full capacity in the next few years. And out of 300, only 14 are sanitary landfills, which means there is recovering effort and segregation effort to recover and recycle some of the waste. Okay, now many people say, okay, if landfill is not solving the problem, then what about incinerators? What about we burn our rubbish? Is that a sustainable solution? Okay, when we burn our waste, okay, there will be toxic gas release. Okay, in an incinerator is actually very costly to operate. Not only that, when we burn it, it also release carcinogens into the air that we breathe. And more importantly, landfills and incinerators do not push us to change our behavior. Okay, nor do they push us to be part of the solution to this problem. So yes, this problem actually requires a lot of effort and involvement from different parties to solve. Okay, for example, policies need to be drawn, yeah, and even laws needs to be enforced. But how many of us here are law enforcers, and how many of us here are involved in drawing policies? So what can you and I do? What can you and I do? Now, in the past, our effort to clean up the beach is actually described by this metaphor. You know, we have been solving our waste problem by cleaning up at the end. Okay, we have not been stopping waste at the source. Okay, the metaphor given is this: if our kitchen sink is overflowing with water, what is the first thing that we should do? Okay, beach cleanups and all this are just secondary. You know, we are just cleaning up the water, mopping up the floor, and just scooping up the water into a different pail with a teaspoon, right? But when the first thing, logic thing that we should do is actually to turn off the tap. So I'm proposing the zero waste lifestyle, okay, the 5R to be something that you and I can start doing today to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. And the 5 R's of the zero waste lifestyle is refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot. Now, what can we refuse? A lot of our waste that we generate can actually be refused from the beginning. For example, disposable plastics, single-use plastic, takeaway containers. So if we can, try to refuse this as much as possible. Okay, and the second R is reduce. For whatever that we cannot refuse, we can try to reduce it by replacing our product with more environment-friendly products with minimal packaging. Okay, and the third R is reuse. We need to shift our culture towards a reusable culture. Always bring a zero waste kit with you, and the zero waste kit can contain things like your containers, your water bottles, fork and spoons, and handkerchiefs. All this can help us to cut down waste. Okay, and the fourth R is recycle. Please learn about recycling the correct way. I know for the past 20 years we have heard about recycling, but do you know that up to today, how many of us here are recycling? Okay, the answer is not many, and not many of us even know how to recycle correctly. What does the logo under the bottle mean? You know, the triangle. Do you know how many types of plastic there are? All this knowledge we can learn can actually help us to recycle more effectively. And the last but not least, the fifth R is actually rot, which means composting. We need to learn how to compost and return the organic waste into our soil, because organic waste that is tend to degrade in the landfill under low oxygen conditions actually release methane gas, and they can release for a period of over 30 years. And we now know that methane gas is actually a greenhouse gas, and they contribute to climate change. Okay, instead, when we do composting, we can actually mitigate this problem, and also we are returning the nutrients back into our soil. And composting actually is the missing link between food production and food consumption. So I hope that, you know, with these 5 R's, you will give it a go, because I have successfully managed to I only need to take out my trash once a month after I apply the 5R principles of the zero waste lifestyle. So let us strive towards this new harmony and really think about our consumption habits to be a more responsible consumer, and try to harmonize even our consumption habits with the environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth, for sharing. I hope what Ruth has shared could be a new harmony for us if you really want the earth to be harmony that we can live, or at least our future generation can live on harmoniously. There's something we really need to do. That is also a new harmony. Thank you once again, Ruth. I think if any of the politicians hear you, maybe they want to award you with a Datuk ship, Ruth. If you really get that, make sure you thank me for suggesting that. Thank you once again. Okay. Okay, Ruth. Thank you.